You already know how it goes with this team. Just when you think things might finally calm down, something else happens and everybody starts talking. And this time, it's not just another football update. There's a story developing off the field, some big movement around the roster, and a few details that could have a real impact once the season gets going. So yeah, there's a lot to unpack here, and you're definitely going to want to hear this one all the way through. If you're enjoying the update, hit that like button. And down in the comments, type "Bang Bang Niner Gang" if you're riding with the faithful. The San Francisco 49ers were already dealing with enough moving pieces to fill an entire week of headlines. But what happened in Ohio over the weekend suddenly changed the conversation around this franchise. And the biggest question right now has nothing to do with a depth chart, a preseason result, or even an injury. It involves the man at the very top of the organization, Jed York. York was arrested Sunday in East Palestine, Ohio, and on Monday morning he pleaded no contest to misdemeanor charges of disorderly conduct and possessing criminal tools. According to the information reported in the transcript, he posted $5,000 in bond, was sentenced to 2 days in the Columbiana County Jail to be served concurrently, received credit for a day already served, and was ordered to pay $150 in fines. But there's another detail in the court information that immediately makes this story even more serious and raises obvious questions. The court orders showed that a cell phone was ordered returned to York, while $160 that had been seized was to be forfeited to the Mahoning Valley Human Trafficking Task Force as part of the agreement. And that is the detail that is going to keep this story from disappearing quietly. Because this isn't simply a situation involving a traffic citation, a minor misunderstanding, or something completely disconnected from public scrutiny. When the owner of one of the NFL's most recognizable franchises is arrested, when money connected to the case is being forfeited to a human trafficking task force, and when local news outlets are examining the potential prostitution elements surrounding the story, people are naturally going to demand answers. That does not mean we should invent answers that we do not have. It does mean we should pay very close attention to what has actually been reported. York is not some distant executive whose name rarely appears around this team. He is the owner of the San Francisco 49ers. He's been one of the most important figures in the organization for years, and now, with the regular season approaching, his name is attached to a story that has absolutely nothing to do with football. And the timing makes the entire situation even stranger. The 49ers are in training camp, the preseason is underway, the roster is being shaped, players are fighting for jobs, coaches are trying to evaluate injuries and decide who will be available when the games actually matter. And while all of that is happening, York was in Ohio, where he was arrested Sunday. The transcript also points out York's connection to the area. He graduated from Cardinal Mooney, so this wasn't some completely random part of the country for him. But that still doesn't answer the question that 49ers fans are going to have. What exactly led the owner of the team into a situation that ended with an arrest, misdemeanor charges, a jail sentence, fines, and money being forfeited to a human trafficking task force? Those are questions that deserve attention without crossing the line into speculation. And for York personally, the optics are terrible. This is a billionaire NFL owner. He is married and has 2 sons, according to the information discussed in the report. He is running an organization with enormous financial value, tremendous visibility, and expectations that extend far beyond wins and losses. Every decision involving someone in that position is going to be examined differently because there is no separating the individual from the public role he holds. And this arrives during an off-season and preseason in which the 49ers seemingly haven't been able to go very long without something unusual happening. Before training camp, head coach Kyle Shanahan was involved in a car accident. Throughout camp, injuries continued to become one of the dominant themes surrounding the roster. And now, as San Francisco tries to prepare for another season, the franchise owner is suddenly at the center of a legal story coming out of Ohio. Never a dull day around the 49ers might sound like a joke, but right now it feels remarkably accurate. And here's where this story becomes especially important for fans to follow. What happened to York isn't taking place in isolation from everything else going on inside this organization. While attention was suddenly pulled toward Ohio, major football developments were happening at the exact same time. One of them could dramatically change the outlook of the 49ers offense. George Kittle was removed from the physically unable to perform list and returned to practice. That is a massive development considering where Kittle has been trying to come back from. Kittle suffered a torn Achilles against the Philadelphia Eagles in the wild card round, and his rehabilitation has been one of the most important recovery stories surrounding San Francisco. During the 49ers' trip to Los Angeles for their preseason game against the Chargers, Kittle visited the surgeon who performed the procedure on his Achilles. According to the transcript, that meeting went extremely well, continuing the belief that Kittle has been ahead of schedule in his recovery. Then came the image 49ers fans had been waiting for. Kittle back on the practice field, in pads, moving fast, looking physical, looking explosive, and most importantly, looking healthy enough for the 49ers to take him off PUP. That decision matters because leaving Kittle on the PUP list entering the season would have forced San Francisco to begin the year without him, for at least the opening portion of the schedule. Removing him now tells us that the 49ers believe there is a legitimate possibility he can return early. And suddenly, the conversation gets even more interesting. Could George Kittle actually be available for Week 1 against the Los Angeles Rams in Melbourne, Australia? Nothing in the information provided guarantees that, but taking him off PUP keeps the possibility alive. Kittle had already made it clear that he did not want the first time he put pads on after the Achilles injury to come in an actual game. Now that obstacle is already being addressed. He's practicing in pads weeks before the September 10th opener, giving him time to build confidence, absorb contact, condition his body, and determine exactly how close he is to being ready for real football. So, while one of the strangest off-field stories involving the 49ers is unfolding around Jed York, one of the most encouraging football developments of the entire summer is happening with George Kittle. And we're not finished, because Christian McCaffrey is back too. A surprising trade has brought veteran linebacker Deion Jones to San Francisco, and the injuries at linebacker could explain exactly why the 49ers made that move. But before we get into all of that, I want to know where 49ers fans stand on the biggest story right now. What is your reaction to Jed York's arrest and the details that have emerged from the case? Drop your opinion in the comments, because this is one situation where the fan base is going to have a lot to say. Now I want to hear directly from you, 49ers faithful. What do you make of everything happening around this team right now, especially the situation involving Jed York? Drop your opinion in the comments, because I want to see where the fan base stands on this. And if you want to stay on top of every major 49ers update, breaking story, roster move, injury development, and everything that matters in San Francisco, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notifications as well, because with the way things are moving around this team, the next big story could come at any moment. And the good news for San Francisco did not stop with George Kittle. Christian McCaffrey also returned to practice, another major development as the 49ers continue preparing for the regular season. McCaffrey had been sidelined for a couple of weeks because of stiffness, but according to the information provided, this was part of a carefully managed process. After going through roughly 9 to 10 practices and putting his body through the physical demands of football again, the plan was to reduce the workload, allow him to recover, and then begin ramping things back up before the season. McCaffrey said he felt fresh, and that is exactly what the 49ers need to hear from a player entering his 10th NFL season after handling more than 400 touches last year. But while two of San Francisco's biggest offensive stars are moving in the right direction, the front office also made a move that immediately raised questions. The 49ers traded running back Zamir White to the New Orleans Saints in exchange for veteran linebacker Deion Jones. It is an unusual deal because both players had joined their respective teams less than a month earlier. White appeared unlikely to make San Francisco's final roster, while Jones now enters one of the deepest position groups on the 49ers. Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw are expected to lead that unit, but the situation becomes much more interesting because Nick Martin is dealing with a hamstring injury. Martin had been making an impact during the preseason, recording double-digit tackles through the first 2 games and forcing a fumble on special teams. That is exactly the type of production that can earn a young player a roster spot. So why bring in Deion Jones now? The timing could be telling. Jones has experience playing under both Kyle Shanahan and Raheem Morris, and although he is no longer the explosive every-down linebacker he was earlier in his career, his familiarity with the system could have value. He could provide depth, contribute on special teams, and perhaps help younger linebackers such as Martin and Jaden Duggar understand the defense. And there is another possibility worth monitoring. If Martin's hamstring injury keeps him out longer than initially expected, Jones could become much more important than this trade first appears. That is the theme surrounding this team right now. Every piece of good news seems to arrive alongside another question. Kittle is back. McCaffrey is back. But injuries remain scattered across the roster. Competition is intensifying, and San Francisco is still making moves as the regular season gets closer. The next few practices could tell us much more about who will actually be available when the games begin to count.